Live from News Channel 8, this is Toyota Sports Talk.
I would love to be. If you could say draw it up, I'd be a Redskin the rest of my career. When you look at the best of the best, those quarterbacks played with one team. My desire is to stay with one team my entire career, and that would be Washington.
Hello and welcome to Toyota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Robert Burton. You heard it there. Kirk Cousins apparently wants to stay in Washington, D.C. The thing is, do you believe him or do you think it's baloney? Wants to stay here for the rest of his career. Do you believe that Cousins really wants to stay in D.C.? Does Cousins really want to stay in D.C.? Also, which player do you hope never leaves? Jordan Reed, Ryan Kerrigan, Trent Williams. And lastly, which player team split was the worst? Example, Michael Jordan to the Wizards, Patrick Ewing to the Sonics, Ken Griffey Jr., that is, to Cincinnati. Just the random moves later in their careers. 703-387-1020 is the number. Joining us tonight, one of our own, ABC 7 and News Channel 8 producers, Omar Muhammad. He's back.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up, man?
Happy to be back, Todd. Thanks, and thank you for bringing me back, man.
I'm happy to have you, man. Last time you were here, I think I cooked you really well.
I don't.
You think you won that battle?
I was actually, I didn't say this before, but I really think it's messed up how Boys II Men treated you. You should have been the fifth member, and they just pushed you to the side. And they should have known better than that, man.
All right, Terrell Davis. But anyway, let's get to the actual question of the night. So, Kirk Cousins, what do you think? You hear Kirk say, I want to stay here for the rest of my career. And look, I get it. I love D.C. I could see the Washington Monument from my window. Mm-hmm. The diversity here is amazing. Mm-hmm. Love the people. Love my job. As far as the organization, though.
I hear what Kirk's saying, and it sounds good. And it's supposed to.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I mean, it would have been nice to hear him say this a few months ago when contract conversation was getting a little hot and when it was supposed to go down and everything. But to me, it kind of feels that he's saying what he needs to say so that this isn't a story throughout the season. And it's going to be a story, as long as if they don't do well in the season. But if they keep winning, it's still going to be lingering in the back, but not so much because people are going to talk about how good this team is doing and how Kirk Cousins may want to re-sign with this team as they progress. But if they're not doing well, this will be the story.
That'll be, exactly. Kirk saying.
Do the Redskins trade him now? Do they split?
Well, the thing is, what was he supposed to say? I mean, if he's asked the question, hey, Kirk, do you want to stay in Washington for the rest of your career? He's not going to say no.
Right.
No, I don't.
And the answer he's been given most of the time is, you want to be where you're wanted.
Right.
That's the kind of answers he was given before. So the fact that, he's coming out, he's saying, I want to be with Washington, that's some progress.
Yeah.
And you want to hope that it's true.
Well, yeah, and if you're a Kirk Cousins fan, that's something that you want to hear.
Right.
Now, I mean, if you listen, you say, hey, I like this guy, I like Kirk Cousins, I like what Jay Gruden is doing with him. If he wants to stay here for the rest of his career, great. Now, the thing is, if you're a Redskins fan and you're not a Kirk Cousins guy, that's something that you don't want to hear. Exactly.
I mean, you say if you're not a Kirk Cousins guy?
If you're not a Kirk Cousins guy, I mean, you necessarily don't want to hear this.
I mean, I think a lot of Redskins fans anyway, they're kind of hoping the Redskins get a quarterback, via the draft or, they want to, they think maybe Colt McCoy can get the job done. I think a lot of Redskins fans believe that. So you want to have safety precautions just in case this doesn't go as planned. But again, he's saying all the right things. He's saying what he needs to say as the season begins so that, it's not the main storyline going in.
All right, so let's go to the phone lines. And the guy on the phone line right now, Spencer from Oxon Hill, I'm sure he doesn't want Kirk Cousins here for the rest of his career. Spence, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man? How do you feel about it?
I was calling about the player that I want to be here is Jordan Reed.
Which was one of my picks.
Which was actually one of my picks, but okay.
We just got to keep him healthy.
Yeah, that's the thing about him. He's had injury trouble in the past. In fact, he's having a little trouble right now.
He's like one of your best players, and he's really good at what he does. But all you need is to have somebody you can rely on him to get the ball to him, and him stay healthy, and get a couple of players like himself without the injuries all the time, and this team could start going somewhere.
So, Spence, you would take Jordan Reed over Trent Williams then, as far as a player you want to see stay here forever?
I mean, you would love to have more people like Trent Williams. I want Trent Williams on here too. Like I said in the past, I like Trent Williams, Jordan Reed, Deshaun Jackson, which they got rid of,
Right.
who was your star receiver. And they need to keep guys, not get rid of guys. You know, because you gave up Alfred Morris. That's why your running game hurt. So the Redskins will continuously push guys out, bring guys in. They got to make sure they got the right number of players that are good.
All right. Well, Spence, and thanks for calling. Unfortunately, we probably won't keep everything. Just like Omar couldn't keep his hair. All right, let's sticking back to the phone lines. Dave is in Waldorf. Dave, what's up?
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Good, good. How are you, Dave?
I'm gonna comment. I think that Cousins did say the right thing, and I hope they never get rid of Ryan Kerrigan.
That's a good one.
That's-
was one of your picks?
That was one of my picks,
Which
Ryan
one of your
Kerrigan.
picks? So, okay, and Dave, thank you so much for calling, but what is it about Ryan that you want to hold on to this guy?
I mean,
forever?
he's if not an elite pass rusher, he's a really good one. You know, he's already high on the Redskins sack leaders list, and he brings stability to at least one side of that defensive front. You know, you've been trying to pair him up with another pass rusher. I think him and Arakpo had a little chemistry at one point, but you know, Arakpo had his injury problems, and you know, but Ryan Kerrigan is sturdy. He's the guy that if you're looking to buy a Redskins jersey right now,
He's the glue.
he's probably the guy. Yeah,
He's the
you know.
glue. So then Ryan Kerrigan, and then on your list as well was, of course, Trent Williams.
Trent Williams,
a guy that everybody would want to have forever.
One of the best left tackles, if not the best left tackle in the game. You know, Madden players will tell you he's the highest rated Madden player in the game.
I'm not a big Madden guy, so
You're not a big guy, period. But anyway, but Trent, you know, is one of the best linemen coming out, and you know, he just signed a big deal.
Yeah.
It was 7 years last year or 2 years ago, so he still has about 5 to 6 years left on that deal. They're going to be fine with him, and he's going to produce for them, and they know that.
Right.
You know, they've actually gone through a couple of great left tackles, because before him it was Chris Samuels. So they've actually been really good at that spot. They're actually doing really good on the O-line as far as building up blocks. But he's the face of that O-line. He's the face of the Hawks 2.0.
So, okay, now you have Trent Williams, you have Jordan Reed, you have Ryan Kerrigan. These are all guys that everyone wants to stay forever. What about a guy like Jamison Crowder, who has his potential is skyrocketing right now?
One of the best slot receivers in the game.
Exactly.
I think every Redskins fan, if you ask them now, they absolutely want Jamison Crowder.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, like Spencer said earlier, the Redskins have a reputation of turning guys over.
Yeah, that happens. That happens a lot.
And, you know, Crowder's one of these guys that's still on this rookie deal. And once that comes up, you know, you'll start hearing more about will he resign? Can the Redskins resign him? And I think a lot of Redskins fans will tell you, you know, they're hoping he's the future.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that he's there. You don't want to be too optimistic because it could turn into another Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon type situation.
Okay. We're going to go to break. When we come back, more with Darrell Owens here. And, okay, we're talking about the worst team player splits ever, okay?
Well, if you left, you know, that would be welcome. That would be welcome.
Or Ewing to the Sonics, you know, Scottie Pippen to the Rockets, whatever. Okay, give us a call, 703-387-1020. Questions of the night right there. Give us a call. Welcome back to Toyota Sports Talk, here with our very own Omar Muhammad. Look, let's go straight to the phone lines before we get to our next topic. Nick is in Virginia. Nick, what's up?
Hey, I was just wondering what y'all's opinion was on the starting line on Saturday for the offense. I mean, it's kind of shaky since last week, and kind of worried about that one.
Well, Nick, I'll tell you this, and thanks for calling. Wasn't anything to brag about.
I didn't completely
He
hear
was
the
thinking,
question.
what did you think about the starting line?
Ooh.
Starting offensive line. Nothing to brag about.
Nah, nothing at all.
Not a lot. Not a lot of good to say about that. I don't think so.
Not anything to say, really. I mean, I think the Redskins have come out and said themselves, they didn't come out with the same intensity that the Ravens came out with.
No.
And it looks like it.
Yeah, not at all.
They couldn't run the ball. Kirk didn't have time to throw. I think a lot of fans were hoping to see at least one Cousins to Pryor connection in the game just to get you excited. And what you got instead was very lackluster and kind of reminiscent of bad football Redskins.
It wasn't good. Okay. Let's go back to the phone lines. Alfredo's in D.C. Alfredo, what's up, man?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Good.
Well, I just wanted to talk about Kirk Cousins, about if he wanted to stay or not. I think I saw it all over his face, like he don't want to stay with us. I can tell, like, he's not going to be with us next year.
What about his face makes you say that?
He just stayed with us this year because he wants to have respect for DC for last year, but he don't want to stay with us. So we're all over his face.
Okay, and Alfredo can read the face, apparently. I mean, look, the thing about it is, if you say you want to be here, we can only take it at
your word.
Exactly.
If it's honest.
We can't. I can't read faces. Okay. I can't read faces.
You can't read your own face.
That's not
you had to shave or something. But I mean, Kirk Cousins he said he wants to be here. And again, like you said, you can only take him at word value. I don't think Kurt has said anything negative since he's even been here. Even when RG3 was here, he was like, this isn't my team.
Right.
I'm waiting to get to the next team. He's always said the right thing. And so, again, he said the right thing. Hopefully, it was truth.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic. Worst player team split. And we're not just talking about, one player going from one team to the other. We're talking about things like Michael Jordan to the Wizards, Scottie Pippen to the Rockets, Art Monk playing for the Jets as his career was, on the back end. Shaq to Miami. What do you think is the worst? I mean, you had a few on your list.
So, I'm going to go with my honorable mention first. Honorable mention, you said a few of them. Favre to Minnesota is on my honorable mention.
Okay.
Played with the Packers very long time.
Forgot about that
the
one.
Packers were ready to move on to Aaron Rodgers, and then, he said, okay, cool.
Wow.
I'm going to go right next door in the division.
Wow. And put in work.
And put in work. And
win the
serious
division. Work.
Go to the NFC Championship before I choke in Brett Favre fashion. I had Shaq move twice, from
Orlando
to LA. He was the face of the Orlando franchise.
I don't think you can count Orlando. I'm sorry.
Shaq and Penny had commercials, man.
They did.
They had commercials.
But he wasn't there long enough. I'm saying he wasn't there long enough.
Everyone knew he was the next coming. And
right. Okay.
They went to a finals together.
You know what? I get that. It's almost like Melo going from Denver
to New York.
But Melo wasn't there that long. He didn't leave that enough of a legacy.
He went to a Western Conference championship with AI.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. He wasn't there long enough. But you got to be all right when you talk about the big ones that we named. Mike.
That's a whole
career. He left his
right.
legacy in Chicago and went to Washington. Weird. Patrick Ewing. We're talking weird, okay? This is weird, all right? Like Patrick Ewing went from New York, spent all that time in New York, and went to Seattle. Could you imagine Reggie? Could you imagine Reggie playing for New York?
They were both at the end of their careers. Mike did it because the Wizards begged him to do it.
Yeah, right.
They were just trying to hang on. Well, as far as Patrick, just trying to get a couple more years in. You know?
But it was weird. It was weird though. It was weird though.
And then
just
again,
like Favre. I mean, I'm sure it was weird for people to see Favre in a Minnesota uniform.
And then later in the Jets.
Exactly.
And I think Orlando fans were salty. Shaq was in the Lakers, and I think Lakers fans are salty that.
Look, Shaq going from Orlando to LA was just to move to a different team for way more money. He didn't get paid in Orlando.
He also
got $120 million.
He was also beefing with Penny.
Yeah, but that's beside. He got $120 million from the Lakers, so he just went to LA to make more money. Patrick went to Seattle because he was just broken. He was popped off like your top button. And we got to go to break, right? When we come back, more with Omar. We're taking more of your calls when we come back. 703
One of the best splits, your hairline and your forehead.
Call us, 703-387-1020. Questions of the night right there.
Your hairline and your forehead split.
Welcome back to the Sports Talk. Here with Omar Muhammad.
What's going on?
Why are you looking at me like that, man?
Like what,
I'm
man?
I'm not gonna say
I'm
anything,
starstruck, man.
Are you really?
I'm starstruck. I've never been.
You are.
I've never been next to Courtney Lee.
I can tell because your head's kind of shiny right now from the sweat. All right. Anyway, let's go back to the phone lines. Let's go to Lamont in Calvary County. Lamont, what's up, man?
How you doing, fellas?
Good.
What's going on?
I was looking at my perspective this year of the Skins. I just don't think we're going to do that well because it seems like every time we get something going on, they get rid of them. Mm-hmm. Alexander, special teams, first guy down there, saved many of tackles and touchdowns. He's gone. Then the quarterback issue, with number 8, the boy was throwing over the head, and we had the guy from the Eagles, he's throwing in the dirt. And now we finally got somebody that can throw a little bit, ain't throwing too many terrible interceptions,
Well,
and
I'm sorry, go ahead, Lamont.
And then, we had our play calling. We had the guys, Shanahan and them, they did with the Falcons.
Well, Lamont, and let me say this. Let me say this. Every time you ask someone, what do you think the record's going to be with the Redskins this year? It's always 9-7, 8-8. It's never.
Play calling. The young guy. Look at this year. Last year, he had us in there, but he had a few mess ups, bad calls, bad plays, and you think they'd stay and learn from it. Now he's gone. He's coaching around.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm with you, Lamont. I don't know if it's going to be a spectacular season. Lamont, thank you so much for calling. Arias is in Virginia. Arias, what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? What's going on, man?
Not much, man. I just wanted to know what was going on up about the Kirk Cousins situation, man. And I feel like, man, he's done everything more to prove what, he's done to be here. And I don't understand why they're putting him through this whole contract situation. And I just wanted to know what you guys thought what was up with that,
Well, Arias, I feel like, and I'm no expert. I haven't been in the front office in the NFL, but you put all this cash, which, I mean, they're already putting a lot of cash into this guy with these franchise tags, but you're going to put all this cash into someone for 5-6 long years. This is just a lot of it's guaranteed. You want to make sure this guy is going to take you to the promised land. I don't know if Kirk Cousins has shown he's a promised land type of guy.
Well,
that's not me.
I want to disagree there because, I mean, you look at guys like Joe Flacco, who's now an amazing quarterback, but he's won a Super Bowl. You need a guy that can manage the game and get you somewhere.
Joe has a ring.
And
it's different.
I think Kirk Cousins has that kind of ability. And we're putting a lot of blame on the front office, as should be. They do deserve some of the blame. But we also got to consider, what does Kirk Cousins want? Does Kirk Cousins actually want to be here? Yesterday it came out and said that he did, but it was the first time we heard that since this whole thing happened. Redskins clearly aren't scared to put money into him with all these franchise tags.
Right.
So you got to see. I think there's a disconnect between both parties. We don't really know if Kirk wants to be here, despite him saying it, and we don't know if the Redskins are lowballing him.
And you know what? Why is it that when Kirk Cousins says, I want to stay here for the rest of my career, we don't believe him?
Because it came too late.
There's a exactly.
It came in the preseason.
He didn't say it when it happened.
Right.
He waited a few days to come out and say it.
A few months.
Exactly. He waited a few days to come out and say that, hey, I want to be in Washington for the rest of my life.
Right.
I don't know if it was the pressure from Sal. I don't know if he was just feeling good today. But for some reason, he came out and said it.
I think he said, it's game time. Let me nip this in the bud. I want to be here, guys.
I put my helmet on, my pads on. By the way, I want to be here for the rest of my career.
Let's play some football now.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Is it something that we want to see? Are we ready to have Kirk Cousins here as a long-term guy? I don't know.
I think if you hear from, you got guys calling in all like this whole time talking about Kirk.
Right.
I think they want to see him. I think everybody wants him here.
Okay.
So I mean, I think the organization needs to find out what's his price.
Right.
Make room for that price.
Yeah.
Keep him.
Okay. Your jacket's wrinkly though. A new blazer at Nordstrom is $99. We'll be right back with final thoughts.
That's some nice plastic fabric you got in your shirt.
And don't forget, News Channel 8 is your home for the Ravens preseason. You can see the Ravens in Miami against the Dolphins. That's tomorrow night. Coverage begins at 6:30. Kickoff at 7 o'clock. Back here with one of my favorites, one of our producers at ABC7 News Channel 8, Omar Muhammad.
My guy.
Okay, so let's get back to the player-team switch. We said Michael Jordan going to the Wizards, Patrick Ewing to the Sonics, Scottie Pippen to the Rockets, which was weird for me being a Chicago guy. Karl Malone to Los Angeles. No?
I think everybody saw what was happening there. You know, they were trying to make a super team so they can make a run for a championship for these two guys, him and Gary, who hadn't won anything yet.
Right.
So I think that wasn't as a shot to everyone. The one that I think that, you know, we're glossing over, but I don't think everyone else at home is LeBron James to Miami.
Of course. I think that goes without saying.
And that's a huge one because, you know, as much as you may not like KD going to Golden State, that doesn't happen unless LeBron goes to Miami.
He did start that. He started the super team. But did LeBron start it, or did Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen
They didn't
start
do it intentionally, though. This is the first super team made by the players.
Okay.
You know, the Boston traded for these guys.
All right, so hopefully we'll not see a lot of that anymore.
Don't forget the decision.
We'll see you next time. Omar, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Get a better suit, man.
Bruh, get a better everything, boy. Go to your barber next time. Boy.
Dude, stop hating, man.